Business ownership has never been hotter, but how do you do it? That's where I come in. Allow me to guide you on your journey. Welcome to Ion Franchise. This episode sponsored by SEO Samba. Empower your franchise with predictable results and AI-driven marketing. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Ion Franchising. I'm your host, Lance Gralick, and you know, everybody asks these days, Lance, can you find me something that is recession-proof, recession-resistant? Well, you know, you might have also heard kids and pets, two of the biggest recession-proof type businesses. You're always going to take care of your kids and your pets. So my friend today has been in franchising a long time. You're going to hear it directly from him, and you're going to hear it right now. Dana Hansen is the president, and he's a co-founder of End Zone Sports. Amazing, amazing youth sports brand. Dana, welcome to the show.
Hey, Lance, it is my pleasure to be on with you. It's been a while. I think I have been in franchising for, I don't know if it's been as long as you, but I think we're probably close. I think we both have some gray hair on the side just to prove it, right?
I got plenty. I have gray hair with my kids' names on it. So Dana, how did you get into franchising?
Right after, I guess I should, I went in the Air Force after school. It was an amazing experience, got to see some really incredible things. And I got out, started a family, started a business, found out that, business was a lot harder than I had anticipated. You're good at some things, but you're not good at all things. And so I really kind of struggled in some areas that I didn't anticipate. It ended up working out really well, only because I'm super persistent, very hardworking, and lucky. I think luck kind of, fell into that mix. But I felt like I was banging my head against the wall half the time, and it ended up working out. But long story short, it ended up being a great business. Built it up, sold it out, and then a friend of a friend told me about somebody that was in the franchising space. It was in the educational franchise at that time, and I was still shocked. I didn't know franchising was anything beyond fast food, and so I'm fascinated. I meet the owner, and I'm in love. I'm like, wow, all the answers to the test, and you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And I was hooked. And what was really amazing about it is that with that particular brand, like, we were just blowing out numbers because I believed in it so much. I knew how important franchising was, and it just spoke to me in a volume of ways, having that previous experience.
That is awesome. So tell me the End Zone Sports story, or tell the audience. I already know it. And for those listening and playing along at home, let me tell you, this is a big time scoop. This is Dana's very first podcast interview talking about End Zone Sports. So you get to hear it now, and you have an opportunity to get in now while there's territory. So let's hear it.
That's a really good point. So I have worked with a couple of other brands over the last 20 years, and have had a lot of success, a lot of fun, just been a blast. And, I've built these brands for other folks, and I love the companies that I worked with. They loved me. It was fantastic. But a friend of mine had started End Zone Sports, and I was kind of watching from the sidelines, kind of cheering him on. And he's like, one day we're going to work together. We're going to do this. I had hired him previously in another position in franchising. And so he kind of missed that. I missed it. And, just a great guy. We're very, very good friends. But I said, I need for your franchise owners to be at a certain level before I would even consider it. And I also need to see what the culture is like, and there's a number of things. I was in a pretty cushy position with a company, again, that I loved and that treated me well. But I had always dreamt of really doing it for myself at some point. So 6 months ago, I'm having lunch with Tony Westbrook, who is the founder of Hansen, and he goes, Dane, you got to check out these numbers. And so so I'm looking at the numbers with his, his top 20 franchise owners, and I go, so these are good quarterly numbers. He goes, no, 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 these are not quarterly numbers. These are monthly numbers. And I'm like, what? Like, you are killing it. This is really exciting. And so I said, I gotta know more. What else can I do? He goes, hey, you Tuesday night, we're gonna have a system-wide call. It's a video call. You're gonna get to see the culture. You're gonna get to see the people. It's a really fun family feel. And so I went and watched that Zoom call and watched everybody interact. They're propping each other up. They're like, oh, I want to celebrate so and so for doing this and doing that. And I'm like, okay, so I don't want to just come in as the president of End Zone Sports. I want a seat at the table. I want to buy in. I'm in hook, line, and sinker. And
I love it.
so we negotiated, and a few months later, here I am, which is amazing. So I've now been with the brand for 90 days, and it has been an absolute blast.
Yeah. And I hope the audience really appreciates this. But what I love about having a podcast, I mean, October will be 3 years for the Ion Franchising Podcast, is hearing your passion and your excitement to buy in as an owner, which essentially is what franchisees are doing, is they're finding something, they're sort of checking all the boxes, hopefully. And some people obviously don't have the experience that you do in franchising, and we could talk about that. What should their checklist look like from the franchisee's perspective? And likewise, what was yours that you knew, man, I'm buying into this. We know about the numbers, you know. So and so you're going to tell us about that in a few minutes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's really great about this brand? Um,
Tell
so
us
so
about End Zone Sports first. What is
okay.
it exactly?
So Enzo Sports is a youth sports franchise, and it encompasses a couple of different profit centers. The first is actually our junior program. It's a preschool program where we send coaches to preschools. They'll go in there for an hour a week and work with anywhere from 15 to 50 kids per preschool. And we have owners that have 10, 20, 30 preschools that they're working with, which is amazing. And then we have youth sports leagues. So the preschool program starts at age 2 or 3. Two, not much of attention span, so it's kind of a challenge. Really, 3 to 5 is our target audience there. And the parents love it because we have a certain curriculum that we're teaching. It's not just playtime. We have very specific programs, drills that we have, for the kids. Hey, Dad, look, I can dribble a basketball. Like here's how I throw a football, overhand, and like stuff like that. So it's not just soccer. Soccer's been in the preschools a little bit here and there, but really this is a full-fledged program for these kids. So chances are they have siblings that are a little bit older. So we have youth sports leagues for ages 5 to 15. And so when they're a little bit older, it's kind of almost like a feeder program. They get a little older, they're part of the leagues, and we introduce a number of sports, kind of the core sports. Plus, if somebody wants like regional sports, they can introduce field hockey or things like that. But then we have parents who are like, hey, man, my kids are having a blast. We're out here on Saturday. They're having a really great time. But what about us? And so our response was, maybe we could beta test an adult sports program. And
No
so,
way. That's awesome.
yeah, and when you think about it, so many people have moved since COVID, and they're now in new areas, and they don't, like, nobody's in an office anymore, so they can't make friends at the office. How do you get connected to the community? Sports. That's how it was for me when I was young, and we moved around quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity for to make friends. And so
Yeah.
now we have flag football, and we have pickleball, and we have like some really great fun sports. So we beta tested at a couple locations. It went really well. We decided to go to move the age up a little bit because a lot of testosterone between 18 to 24. So now it's 24 and up. Is kind of our adult sports leagues. And kickball, I mean, we're a brand that loves to have fun. We like to say we put the fun in fundamentals, and we definitely do. So we want people to have smiles on their faces. That's how we get paid.
Yeah. You don't have dodgeball, do you?
No, we don't have dodgeball. That
I did.
one, you might have to sign a pretty big liability waiver. I don't know, but it would be fun.
No, that's exactly why I was asking. No. So, who is your ideal franchisee for end zone.
Yeah, somebody that loves sports would be great. Most of our owners kind of have two things in common: sports and kids. They themselves have been taking their kids to leagues. They have they grew up playing sports, so they have a love of sports. But really, we're starting to get a lot more people that they like sports, but it's not really been as huge a part of their lives. They're looking for something that they can transition into, something where they don't have to leave their full-time job, because let's face it, it's scary. This
Yeah.
is actually one of the very few opportunities that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I've been in franchising for a long, long time. This is one of those few opportunities where you can literally start this part-time, not having to quit your job. You have benefits, you have a salary. It's scary. So you can build it up on the side and then transition to full-time. And we have owners that have done it really, really well. Had some really
Yeah.
kind of fun stories that I would share with you on that if you wanted to dig in. But I will
Yeah.
say, we're looking for somebody that has drive and passion, somebody that's fun. Somebody. I think when you buy a franchise, you have to think about a couple things. When you're out in public and you're wearing the name of your company on your polo shirt, it's an engagement opportunity. Are you excited about like them asking you about your company? Hey, to say that you own a sports franchise, that sounds pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Also, End Zone Sports, it's a name that you don't forget. It's pretty exciting, and
Yeah.
we have a blast.
I love it. Yeah. So you hit on something huge in the world of franchising. You said it. You said that you have never seen really anything that you felt really confident that people can do part-time and be successful at until now. So
That
tell us some stories.
Yeah, what's really fascinating to me, and this was also one of the reasons that I kind of like you got hooked, was that like most of the people that I had been talking to, they loved whatever brand it was that I was representing at the time. But it is hard. It's a scary decision to leave what you know. It's so I really thought it was pie in the sky. I thought anything that you do on the side is going to be a hobby. It's going to make a little money, but not really much.
Yeah.
What was fascinating to me is that the number one income earner in the company started this part-time while he was working his corporate job. So not
Yeah.
only can it be done, it's been done, and it's been done in a really, really huge, huge way.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I happen to know, I don't know if that's the same individual. You have a franchisee that did a $500,000 a year in, with this brand on a $75,000 investment.
Yeah, that is crazy, and not only is it that owner, but that owner actually helps teach our new owners how to do it. So part of our training program, we'll actually send them to his location. He's going to spend some time with them in the field and show them how it's done. It's actually a really amazing amazing process that we have, and kind of shows the rapport with the franchise owners. But yeah, I mean, he also owned two other franchises that he sold to focus on End Zone Sports, and he just freaking loves it. Like, and the interesting thing is, he's not like this really like he's a very calm, very cool character. He's not like Ric Flair, on TV with that type of energy. People say that sometimes I might come off in that way, but I will say that
Woo!
woo. So it's different personalities and different focuses. Usually what we do, Lance, is we ask our franchise owners to focus on one of two areas, either the preschool program or the leagues, and then kind of build it from there. So there's a lot of scalability. You can scale within those two main profit centers. Or you can add, it doesn't cost you anything more to add the other part of if you're doing preschool, it doesn't cost you anything more to add the leagues or vice versa, which is kind of amazing.
So talk about the investment. It's 75,000. What do you get for 75,000? I know there's a franchise fee involved. Are you renting fields? I mean, what are those relationships? How do you help with all that?
Yeah, man, I'm so glad you asked that question. I came from a brand where the all-in was $350,000, and most of that was working capital. It took a lot, and you had to quit your job and do this full time, and you couldn't have any other businesses. Like that, that
Yeah.
was it. This is so much more flexible, and it makes it so much fun.
It's a
For
happy
and
business.
nothing wrong with that model. It's a really really good model. But this is so much more, more flexible in that. So for $75,000, which is one of the lower buy-ins in franchising, actually most franchises, I think even low-cost franchises are anything 250,000 or less. For $75,000, what you do is what you get is actually access to our world-class training and support. We actually work, it's not just training. I think sometimes people think about being trained, in a franchise, they kind of assume that's what's going to happen. But this actually goes beyond that. So we're actually going to be assigning a coach to work with that franchise owner, help them, build up the brand, introduce them to other owners that they can network with, have some mastermind groups with, and so that they can see exactly how this is being done. I think when you think about, in terms of a franchise, it's all about not wasting your time or money on things that don't yield results. So that's franchise. That's really the essence of franchising, and we do it so well. We even have two different committees that we have. We have a franchise advisory council and what we call a SWOT team, SWOT. And those two committees are actually help us continue to get better. So every quarter, they actually give us some ideas on things that they would like to see, things that would make, bring more money into their pocket. Whether that's different, there's government programs out there. There's all these things that we're looking to tap into, and every quarter it's new things that they're bringing to us at the corporate level, and that we're able to knock out and bring to the system. So really, like I said, you're part of a brand that is actually this tremendous community with amazing core values and amazing culture. And and what's really cool is on Saturdays, we get to bring the entire community together. And it's all about kids and introducing kids to sports, letting them fall in love with sports in a really fun way. And of course, obviously, sports has so many benefits to it. And unfortunately, a lot of schools are cutting PE out of their program, a lot of private schools. So we actually are becoming like the PE. So we have after school programs for the kids on site where we can offer coaches to help these kids, get off of the screens, get off of let's get out there and let's have some fun, let's have a blast and show you what it's like just with life without screens for a little bit.
Sponsored by Leap Brands. From executive recruiting to hourly staff, Leap is your one-stop shop for all of your franchise talent. Exactly. So things like renting fields and that whole process,
yep.
what do you guys do? Is it
Yeah.
public fields? How do you handle that?
So we actually part of thank you for asking that question. Part of what we do is help our franchise owners find the right locations. So if they go into the preschool program, obviously they're not worried about fields because that's really not an issue. Those programs are administered right on site. But when it comes to the leagues are a little different. So, we will help our franchise owners find, not just locate the fields, but help with the negotiation. It might be existing fields, but the other thing that's kind of interesting about our program is that sometimes there are like these large mega churches that have all this land and they have a ton of parking, but they're not doing anything with that land on a Saturday. So they'd love for people to come on site. We actually come up there, stripe it up, make fields. Like I said, plenty of parking, get some food trucks out there, get the concessions going. And those are typically pretty low cost. Again, the churches kind of like it because they have exposure. People are parking in our parking lot. Hey, maybe they'll join our church. Who knows? Like that. So it's actually a pretty cool opportunity for them and for us. But yeah, we're very involved in helping our franchise owners find the right situation, and something that's not going to be super expensive. One other point that I do want to bring up. Please. Sometimes people think, gosh, there's already leagues in my area. Guess what? There's leagues in every single area that we go into, by the way. So we're not really afraid of the competition part. You want to think about the fact of like a lot of these kids are in these programs, but they're not always run well. They're sometimes disorganized, but they're the only game in town. They want a competitor to come in so that they have another option. And guess what? Kids are born every single second in the United States. A lot of those kids are turning 5. They've never played sports. They want to try something. And when they see End Zone Sports, they're going to be like, oh, wow, okay, what's that? And they're going to go to the website and sign up online. It just makes it easy. So every single market that we've ever gone into, there's always been competition. Nothing new to us. and it actually makes the other company either go away or get better.
Yeah,
Like there's enough for all of us. Let's be honest.
I love it. So most are a lot of your franchisees, you have how many franchisees right now?
We have 53, and we're adding a new franchise just about every week right now.
That's awesome. And are a lot of these franchisees buying single territories? Are they buying multiple?
Yeah, most of them, to be really candid with you, are buying multiple, just because they see the opportunity. They kind of want to protect their backyard. They don't want somebody else to buy the area right next to them,
Yeah,
and we make it affordable. So a single franchise territory is $39,750, so about 40,000. For 20,000 more, you get a second franchise. So it's almost like a no-brainer. You might as
yeah,
well do it. I, one of the things that is really important is understanding the investment. The all-in being 75K or less. That's amazing. I
it
came from
is.
a brand where it's 350,000 all in, and
Yeah.
that's a lot. But there are franchises in your portfolio that are a lot more than that.
Oh
So
yeah.
you
There's a
know so
lot,
that,
a lot of franchises with hefty prices. Let's talk about marketing. So what do you
yeah.
do after the training? What do you do to launch these people and make sure they're off the ground quickly?
Yeah, so with the leagues especially, there's a very specific week by week program that we have. So week one, week two, week three, there's different activities that we're having them that we're kind of making sure that they're doing that week. Especially for their very first season, this is pretty important. For that first season, we want to set them up for success. In the leagues, you need to have, between 200 and 500 kids in a league for you to make some good money. And then you do an 8 week season, and then you take a few weeks off, and then you do another 8 week season, you take a few weeks off. But that first one, people don't know who we are in that area. So we do have a very specific marketing program that we put in place. And what's really great about it is, again, the name. The name is one that people really, it kind of grabs
Yeah,
their attention. So even simple things like road signs where it says End Zone Sports, leagues forming now, flag football, soccer, cheer, we start
yeah.
like listing those things ages 5 to 16. All of a sudden we just get flooded with phone calls and people going to our website.
I was going to say, I didn't really think about it, Dana, but it's pretty easy to advertise because you just put those yard signs all around there in good traffic areas. And I've seen them for different things
Yep.
over the years.
They,
You're gonna call.
they they they
Let's
work
get back
well.
to the question on ideally when you think of the top franchisees associated with End Zone today, what are the qualities? What did they do before? Is there something in common that these people have?
Yes. Yeah. So we need somebody that's coachable. We need somebody that's fun, somebody that is detail oriented, somebody that is really going to be the face of, like, with the leagues. They're out there on Saturdays with the kids, and so we want them to be pleasant individuals that enjoy that kind of community interaction, that want to bring the whole community together. Kind of somebody that's civic minded, wants to, wants to is looking for something where everybody's going to be having a good time, making sure that we want to create a wow experience. So when we have candidates that are going through our process, we're getting to know them. Are they fun? Are they a cultural fit? Are they down with our core values? Do our values align? When you think about a franchise and the process prior to joining a franchise, it's a lot like getting married. You're
Yeah,
dating, you're getting to know each other. Are our values aligned? Do we like each other? Do we trust each other?
yeah,
That's what this whole thing is about.
yep,
And so we do a really good job of bonding with these people. And to be candid with you, there's some people that we just simply may not be the right fit for us. And even if they have cash in hand, we're not going to be awarding a franchise to somebody that we just don't feel is going to be a good fit.
yep,
So we do want to have somebody that's driven, somebody that is coachable, this good at executing a game plan. We know exactly what works and doesn't work. And if, as long as they can execute, and we'll practice with them, and we'll walk them through it, and we'll hold their hand through this whole process, make it easy. The nice thing is, we're not in, this isn't rocket science. This is fun. This is a blast. We're introducing kids to sports. So when you really think about like what we do, oh my gosh, you almost have to pinch yourself.
yeah,
A low cost franchise, that's fun, where you
yeah.
can really make some amazing money. Like, it's ridiculous.
And Dana, I don't need to tell you of all people, the word is out. There are a lot of boring, unsexy businesses out there that are great businesses. But if
Yeah.
you can get into a business that everybody perceives as fun, that's gold. And that's what you've achieved. So I applaud you for that. Let's talk a little bit about the validation process. So if
Yeah.
I have a candidate, which I have several, going through the process with you, at some point, they have an opportunity. You're going to give them a list of franchisees or their group
Yep.
calls. How do you do that process?
Yeah, we have you're exactly right. They need to talk to other people that are doing this to understand how it works. And because we have a couple of different sides to the business, we have some people that do this part-time and some that are full-time. So, some people are making that transition. Some are already there, where they're doing this full-time. I want them to see this from different points of view. And so what I will do is typically schedule a call for them to get on and ask owners questions. We do have so many people that are going through our process right now that we're trying to do as much of a group situation as we can so that they're on there with other they're we like to do it by Zoom so they can actually see the person, see what they look like,
Yeah,
see what their energy is like, who are they as a person.
yeah,
So what's great about that format though is in a group situation, somebody might ask a question that you never even thought of, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a great question. I'm glad they just asked that, asked that question. And so generally speaking, we want them on a series of those calls so that they can really see what it's like. And we even do like a virtual happy hour with our candidates, just to get to know them as people. And we play this get to know them game,
yeah.
where we kind of tell some funny, amusing things about ourselves, and so it's the candidates, and then it's my team too. So it's again, do we like each other? Do we trust each other? Like how do we feel about this? I will say one thing, Lance.
Yeah.
Almost every time on that first call that I have with someone that has been talking to other franchisors, they always tell me that was the that was so different than everybody else's first call. And they're like, I'm so glad it was because I want to get to know them and I want them to get to know me.
Yeah.
Let's see who we are and let's put everything on the table. Let's not play games. Like, let's just be real. And if it's
Yeah.
not a good fit, hey man, we're going to part ways as friends. Maybe it's not the right fit for you, but maybe it is for your cousin in, New Jersey. Who knows,
Yeah.
you know?
No, but I love the way you do that. I mean, look, there's a lot of talk on the internet and discussion about being a responsible franchisor and, having the high integrity and supporting the heck out of your franchisees and being there for them. And you've already endorsed the heck out of this brand by buying in. It's rare I have somebody that says, "Yeah, and just 90 days ago I bought in." I mean, this concept is incredible. I couldn't believe. I love the transparency that you described with the franchisees, that you guys are on the phone all the time. As you and I both know, and I'm going to tell the audience, there are some franchise brands out there that are not very good. And they're not brands that I would ever show my clients. And a lot of those brands, they would never get on the phone with their franchisees, a group of them, because they'd worry it would be a bitch session. Everybody's just going to complain about something, and it all comes back to what the franchisor didn't do. So I love that you guys are being responsible, you're being proactive, and I'll ask you about support. So what is the plan going forward as you grow and how you're going to support all of these new franchisees?
Yeah, that's a really good point. One of the, my vision for the brand is 5 years from now to have 250 franchise owners that are making this their full-time occupation, and have made that transition. If they did start part-time while they're working their corporate job, that are now at that point where they're doing this full-time. And I have some revenue numbers in mind, some goals that I have in mind for them at that point
I
that I
already
think.
know you're going to start $1 million club for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, we're getting some really amazing new owners that like we have great owners already in the system, but I think it's going to elevate everybody. That competition. Let's face it. Everybody wants to be rookie of the year. If you don't want
Yes.
to be rookie of the year, I don't know if this is the right place for you because you should be driven. You should,
Yeah.
this should be something where competition brings out the best in all of us, right?
Everybody
So
wants to win the Super Bowl or the World
yeah,
Series.
That is exactly right. So we are exactly the same.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this is something where it's pretty special. It's pretty unique, and it's a lot of. I keep talking about fun. I almost hate saying it, but there's just not a lot of fun businesses out there. There's some good businesses doing other things, but I think, Lance, one thing that your candidates should always think about is when you do talk about like what you do for a living or what you bought into, are you proud of it? Is this something that you're excited to say that you're a sports franchise owner? Hey, I kind of feel like that's kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
Like people like I think family and friends are going to be like, "Oh, right. Like that like awesome. What does that mean? Well, how does that work?" And
Yeah.
and it generates a lot of excitement all by itself.
So Dana, thank you for putting the fun in franchising. And now my final question is really your final thoughts, words of wisdom, or tips for the audience.
Yeah, my final words would be when you're approaching this, approach it with an open mind. I think you should trust your gut. I think a lot of times people don't, and I think it should be something where, like when you're learning about a franchise, you're going to get a certain feeling. Do I like these people? Is this something that I could see myself doing for years? My whole goal is for you to look back 5 years from now and say, oh my gosh, End Zone Sports, like that was one of the best decisions that I ever made. That's our goal. When it comes to support, when it comes to everything that we do, is to get people to that place where they're just so thrilled and they're telling their family and friends about it, and they're becoming franchise owners too.
Yeah.
So pretty
Love
amazing.
it. Dana, you were awesome. Thank you for being here, my friend, and continued success.
Hey, Lance, so much. I'm so grateful to you. I hope that you continue. Your journey is amazing. What you've accomplished in your career. It's just a
Thank
pleasure to know you, to be on your program, and to spend the time. I always look back on our conversations and say, man, that guy is such a good guy. So appreciate you
you.
so much.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I have a real life video testimonial. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dana.
Hey, thank you, Lance. Appreciate you.
If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.